Hello students, welcome to KENE'S Educare, a group of KENE solutions. This is part 6 of lesson number 15, Improvement in Food Resources. So now in this part, we will be studying more about the poultry farming. We will be discussing on egg and broiler production. And after that, after discussing about egg and broiler production, we will be discussing more on beekeeping as well. We have that as one of the concept again. So we will try to focus on that as well. And after that, we will be learning more about the summary of the whole lesson. Okay, so before I proceed with the further part for the lesson, I want each one of you to please revise whatever notes that you have taken for the session till now, because that is very important for us, right? So I want each one of you to please revise that quickly. I hope every one of you have started revising it. I hope every one of you have started your revision and you all are revising all the basic details that we have studied in the last class. There were so many new things that we had discussed, right? Oh, we are already done with poultry farming, right? Like there was animal husbandry. Today we are going to discuss about fisheries. Yeah. We are done with poultry farming. We will be discussing about fisheries today. So we have two different types of fisheries that has been done. One is inland fisheries and the other one is marine fishery, right? So we will do that. Before that, I want each one of you to please go through whatever notes that you have taken in, and I hope you all are going through it. So we have started the lesson by doing the introduction part where we discussed on crops and livestock, and we discussed on why the production of the crops and livestock are important, because as the population of the world is growing day by day, what's happening, the demand for food is also increasing, and that is making it like important for improving the food resources and improving the efficiency of the crops and livestock as well, right? So I want you all to please go through it quickly, everyone. After this, we discussed on improvement of crop yield, and under this we discussed on the types of crops. So we have 5 different types of crops, which include cereals, pulses, oilseeds, spices, and fodder crops, right? So the examples are also been given over here. Like the example of cereals include rice, wheat, maize, millet, sorghum, right? Then it includes oilseed. Oilseeds include sesame, mustard, linseed, vitamins, right? Then we have fodder crop like which includes oats, Sudan grass, sorghum, right? So you should be knowing this. After those types of crops, we discussed on the crop season, And we have two different types of seasons. One is Kharif crop and the other one is the Rabi crop, right? So always remember that Kharif crops are grown mostly during rainy season, and that is from June to October. So example of Kharif crop includes paddy, soya bean, black gram, moong, maize, cotton, groundnut, etc. Okay, and when it comes to Rabi crops, we know that we grow this Rabi crops during winter season, and the season is mostly from November to April, right? So the examples of Rabi crop include wheat, gram, mustard, linseed, barley, etc. So you should be knowing that we are growing these different types of crops on the basis of different condition, temperature, and photo period which has been required for growth and maturity of the crop. Because if the crop is not growing and it's not maturing, it won't be suitable for us to eat. So because we have different requirements on the basis of the condition that we have, okay, we need to make sure that the crops are grown properly. So I hope you all are going through it. Now, after discussing on the different crops and about the crop season, next thing that we discussed was about the improvement in the crop yield. And we know that the crop yield can be improved by performing three main activities. And these three main activities, it includes crop variety improvement, which is the first step that we need to follow, where we will be improving the variety of the crop. Second step is like improving the production of the crop, and lastly, we studied about the protection of the crop. So crop protection improvement is the third activity, third and the last activity that we need to ensure that the crop yield has been improved, right? So after discussing on this slide, we studied all the 3 points in detail. Where it comes to crop variety improvement, if you all know, we discussed on hybridization, which is a technique which has been carried out, right? And we have three different types of hybridization which has been carried out in under this, right? So the same thing has been given over here. I want each one of you to please go through this slide as well. I hope you all are going through it and you know about the crop variety improvement now, what exactly it is, right? So under this we have one more important topic that we discussed, that is genetically modified crop. So when we are growing like crops using this hybridization technique, because what is hybridization? Where we are doing a cross between genetically dissimilar plants to obtain some useful or desirable characteristics in other plants, right? So I want you all to please go through it quickly. Okay, so after discussing about the crop variety improvement, about hybridization, the different types of hybridization, about the genetically modified crop and all, we discussed on the second part, that is crop variety improvement, why exactly they have been done. Like we were discussing about the reason why crop variety improvement is necessary, and the reason, like we have the so many reasons which have been given over here: having higher yield of the plant, biotic and abiotic resistance to the plant, change in the maturity duration, wider adaptability, desirable agronomic characters, and lastly improved quality. So these are the six things that we have considered while going on with the crop variety improvement, right? So I want you all to please go through it quickly. After discussing on the crop variety improvement and the reasons why exactly they have been needed, we discussed on crop production management, and under this we have three different parts, which includes nutrient management, irrigation, and lastly we have the cropping pattern, right? So I want y'all to please go through it because we have studied all of them in detail, right? So please go through it, everyone. After this nutrient management, we discussed on how exactly the nutrients have been supplied, and then we discussed on the two types of nutrient, that is macronutrient and micronutrient in short, right? So I want each one of you to please go through this slide as well, because again this slide is very important for us, right? After discussing all this, we discussed on what exactly manure is, right? So manure, how are we exactly preparing manure? It has been prepared by decomposing the animal and the plant waste, right? And after that, we had discussed that because manure has all the organic matter and nutrients in them, they're going to help us in increasing the fertility of the soil. And manures are of two types. The first type of manure that we have is compost, which we make from decomposition of the plant and the animal waste. Okay, and the second type of manure that we have is known as green manure. So like some green plants like sun hemp, gore, they are all mixed in the soil by plowing, and this plant turns into green manure. So they make the soil rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. Okay, so after discussing in detail about manure, we discuss on fertilizers as well. But before that, I want each one of you to please go through it quickly. After discussing on this compost and green manure, we discussed on fertilizers, where we had only two statements which have been given about them. That fertilizers are chemical substances which are made commercially, and they have like too much of pesticides, insecticides which are even being present because we need to prevent our plants from pests and insects, right? So that is the reason that pesticides and insecticides have been added to the plant. But these fertilizers, they provide the plant with enough of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium so that plants grow well. Okay, so you can just quickly have a look over here as well, and then we will proceed further. After this, we discussed on animal husbandry in detail, and I hope you all are going through this slide as well. Now we are dependent on plant source and animal source as well, right? So plant source, you know that like plants are going to provide us with all the sufficient stuff, right? And when it comes to animal husbandry, and we are going to discuss about animals over here, what exactly animals are providing us, right? After this, we discussed on cattle farming. So I want each one of you to please go through it as well. I hope you all are going through this cattle farming part. After this cattle farming, we discussed more about it and we saw that animals are being farmed. Like cattle farming is done for two different reasons. One is for producing the milk and the other one is for using them for having some agricultural stuff done, right? So these are the two reasons why cattle farming has mostly been done or dairy farming has been done, right? And on the basis of the use, why they are exactly using them, we have different kinds of feed that has been given to them. Like animal feed will include roughage, which is fiber again, and then we have low fiber thing which includes proteins and other nutrients. Okay. I hope you all are going through this, and even like we need vaccination for us, animals also need vaccination. Okay, so vaccination are even been given to the farm animals so that they don't suffer from any viral or bacterial diseases, which is again very important. After this, we discussed on poultry farming, or we need to do it today? Okay, we need to discuss about poultry farming today. So, poultry farming is undertaken to raise some domestic fowl for egg production and chicken meat. Now, why are we doing this poultry farming? Because we need egg from those animals and we need chicken meat as well, right? And therefore, improved poultry breeds are developed and farmed so that they can produce layers for eggs and broilers for meat. Now, whenever you're going to the shop for purchasing eggs and meats, you can always come up having that key layers are always been used for their eggs and broilers are been used for their meats. Okay, so the crossbreeding programs between indigenous, for example asil, and foreign, which are known as exotic. Now you should know Indian breeds are known as indigenous and foreign breeds are known as exotic. Okay, so this Indian and foreign breeds, example leghorn, they are being used for improving the varieties so that they have some desirable traits in them. Firstly, we have number and quality of the chicks, that is very important. Secondly, drop broiler parent for commercial chick production has been used. Drop means small broiler parent, and they have been used for chick production because they will be able to give birth to a chick, right? Then thirdly, we have summer adaptation capacity or tolerance to high temperature. Fourthly, low maintenance has been required for carrying out the poultry farming thing. And lastly, we have reduction in the size of the egg laying bird with the ability to utilize more fibrous, cheaper diets which have been formulated using agricultural byproducts. So what this poultry animals they need, the reduction in the size of the egg laying bird with the ability so that they can have cheaper diets. It means whatever agricultural byproducts have been there for us, which is a waste, can be used over here for this poultry animals or farm animals in short. Okay, so I hope you all have understood. There's nothing as such to explain over here under this topic poultry farming. Make sure you are understanding it and you know the concept. Okay, so I want you all to just take all the important points from the screen and then we will proceed further. After this poultry farming, we have the next thing as egg and broiler production. So see, we already studied that layers are always been used for eggs and broilers are being used for chicken and meat, right? So broiler chickens are fed with vitamin rich supplementary feed so that they have good growth rate and better feed efficiency. So if I'm growing a broiler chicken with me, because I we go and buy that in the weight of the chicken, right? So they have been provided with well fed, they have been well fed with vitamin rich supplementary so that they grow well and they have the better field efficiency as well. And then care has been taken to avoid mortality and maintain feathering and carcass quality. Now the one who is having this poultry farming, they always make sure that the mortality rate is decreased and the feathering and carcass quality is increased. So they are produced as broilers and they have been sent to the market for meat purposes. Why do we say why they have been sent to the market? For the meat purposes. So for good production of poultry birds, Good management practices are very important. Now whatever we are doing, though be it poultry farming, be it like anything, animal husbandry, anything, cattle farming and all, it's very important that the one who is carrying out the practice is having good management practice at the place as well. So good management practice includes maintenance of temperature and hygiene condition and housing and poultry feed. So wherever the animal is living and whatever feed the animal is having, we need to make sure that they are all been maintained, like they have a hygienic condition which has been maintained. Okay. And as well as prevention and control of diseases and pests is also very important, right? So the housing, nutritional and environmental requirements of broilers are somewhat different from those of the egg layers. Now layers are the one which give us eggs. Broilers are the one which give us meat, like you eat chicken and all, right? So they have been used for meat. So the ratio, like daily food requirement for broiler is protein rich with adequate fat. Okay, so broilers need a diet which is protein rich and it should have adequate fat as well. Okay, then we have the next thing, that the level of vitamin A and K is kept higher in poultry feeds because they should be provided with more of vitamin A and vitamin K. Then we have poultry fowl. They suffer from number of diseases which are being caused by virus, bacteria, fungi, parasites, and from nutritional deficiencies as well. Okay, so we need to make sure that if we are growing them, if we have this stuff which is like taking place, we need to ensure that we are like protecting our poultry folds from diseases which have been caused by virus, bacteria, fungi, parasites, and the animals are not suffering from any of the nutritional deficiencies. So this necessitates proper cleaning, sanitation and spraying of disinfectants at regular interval. It is very important that as wherever we are, we make sure that proper sanitization and disinfectants are being used. We take care that our habitat and the place where we are living is clean. We need to ensure that we are doing the same for this poultry animals as well. Okay, and like in cattle farming, they have to be vaccinated same way. The egg and broiler, like the this chickens and all, they should be given appropriate vaccine so that they are not suffering from any of the infectious disease and loss of poultry during an outbreak of disease, because like we had covid where so many people died. Same kind of disease can be caused over here, and hence we need to ensure that we are vaccinating them, right? I hope you all are taking all the important points from screen. Now, after this, in the next class, I'll be starting with fish production, under which we will be discussing on marine fisheries and inland fisheries. And then we might even start with beekeeping and complete the lesson. Like if I elaborated for more than an hour, we'll complete it all together. And then we have the summary discussion for the whole lesson, that is improvement in food resources. And after doing the summary discussion, we have 9 questions that we are going to discuss. So I'm going to show you the questions one by one. Everyone please go through the questions and like try to come up with an answer for it. Okay. I hope every one of you are going through the question. So this is the last question that we will be discussing at the end, and after this we will be ending up with the lesson improvement and food resources. And I hope whatever we discussed today, each one of you have understood that, and you will be like revising each and every part so that we can continue with the rest of the part in the next class. Thank you everyone.